Good morning. It's Glenn Mitchell here of Freedom Formula Hypnotherapy Academy. And I wanted to go live today just to talk to you a little bit about what is hypnotherapy. And it's one of those things that I believe there's a lot of misinformation out there about what hypnotherapy is. Now, in the first instance, the simplest way to describe it is hypnotherapy is therapy that uses hypnosis. But then the question becomes, what is hypnosis? Now, the easiest way to describe hypnosis is it's a singular focus of the mind. It is an absolute singular focus of the mind. Whether you're focused on the hypnotist's voice, whether you're focused on pictures that you're making in your mind, whether you're focused on just allowing the sounds to wash over you, it's that singular focus of the mind that allows hypnosis to take place. And what happens there is we kind of bypass a lot of the mental noise. And so the mental noise itself is the mind jumping from place to place, the worries, the fears, the stressors that the mind quite often comes under. And when we're in hypnosis, we tend to block those out and create a safe space. And within that safe space, we can do really powerful therapeutic work. And this is the beauty of hypnotherapy, as I see it, is we can do really powerful work in quite short periods of time. So what I mean is, oftentimes with other modes of therapy, it can take weeks and weeks to create the rapport, create the safety, and start to open the mind and get past the mind's denial systems in order to help make change. And so, certain talking therapy modalities can take weeks and weeks to get a person somewhere. Whereas one, two, three, 4 sessions of hypnotherapy can really open up the mind and help to release trauma, help to you can rid yourself of phobias in one single session. Same thing with certain addictions. Stop smoking is very often done in one session. And so hypnotherapy is this wonderfully safe modality. And that's one of the other things that is massively misunderstood. A lot of people believe that hypnotherapy is some sort of, well, hypnosis is some sort of mind control, some sort of lack of safety is involved with that. And nothing can be further from the truth. In hypnosis, you do not have another person impacting on your mind. You create the hypnosis within your own mind. Yeah, you may follow the hypnotist's instructions if you choose to do so. And that's the power right there. You choose to do so or you don't choose to do so. It is entirely up to you whether you choose to follow along with that and find that place that is hypnosis. Now, hypnosis itself, quite often interchangeably, the word trance is used. Now, a lot of people will say these are two different things because hypnosis is a specific process, whereas trance is what we go into when we do hypnosis, which I guess technically is true. So what we're talking about here is the trance state. Now, you actually go into the trance state several times throughout the day, and that is really important to recognize. We go into trance when we're watching telly. Have you ever walked into a room, someone's watching telly, you try and talk to them, and they literally don't know you're there? It's because they are so focused on the telly, they're in a trance. Same thing when you drive somewhere and you forget how you got there. It's not that you weren't paying attention to driving as such. You went onto an autopilot because your brain knows the journey so well. You're still alert, but you're so in that zone that again, you're in a form of trance. And so that in itself is a normal, natural state. And so what we do in hypnosis is we get a person into that trance state to then allow them to release, to make changes, to change their emotional relationship with a thought, with a feeling, with a memory, with something in the future. And what happens is when we remove the emotional content of something, it loses all of its power. And I mean that's the basis for pretty much all forms of therapy, is we're looking to take the big, deep, powerful emotions out of a thought or a feeling or a memory so that we can actually deal with it rather than feel trapped by it, rather than be so triggered, so afraid, so, just in that fear zone. And hypnosis is beautiful for doing this in a quick and safe environment. So just imagine sitting and like think of guided meditations, for example. Your mind can take you to a beautiful scene, you get totally focused, and the body gets totally relaxed. And then we use that focus, we use that relaxation, the body focus in the mind to then allow ourselves to reprocess certain thoughts and feelings. And in that instant, you are actually free to allow your mind and your brain to reprocess feelings that have been trapped, to make changes to your emotional relationship with whatever it was you were thinking or feeling. And again, people often ask, what is hypnotherapy safe to be used for? So I've already mentioned phobias and addictions, and I've worked with people for all manners of addictions, um, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, smoking cessation, gambling addiction, all of these things. And we have safely managed in a few sessions to get people out of those addictions and back into living their lives. Same things with trauma and even PTSD, if the therapist is appropriately trained for that. And there's so many different things that we can work with. Same thing with mood disorders like depression, anxiety, OCD. Hypnotherapy can be amazingly powerful for this. And so at the Freedom Formula Hypnotherapy Academy, we train people in how to use hypnosis, how to utilize that trance state, to work with all of these conditions and more. We also help people with hypno coaching, which is using that trance state now to coach people, to do things like life coaching, mindset coaching. And so it can be very powerful for helping people to really move their lives forward. And so hypnotherapy and hypnosis are powerful, they're safe, and they're incredibly effective. And if you'd like to know more about sort of the research behind these things or the science that goes into it, I would recommend that you follow Dr. Andrew Huberman, Huberman Labs. He is I believe, a neurobiologist at Stanford University. I think he's the lead there, the professor of neurobiology at Stanford University. And he has done a lot of work into lots of different things to do with neuroscience and the brain itself. But certainly you will see him, if you watch some of his videos, you will see him talk about the virtues of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Same thing, Dr. Daniel Amen. He's a psychiatrist that uses brain scans. He often talks of how useful and powerful hypnosis and hypnotherapy are in helping people to heal the physical organ, the brain, not just the perceived mind. And so whereas 30, 40 years ago, hypnosis and hypnotherapy were massively maligned by the mainstream medical establishment, they're starting to gain real interest and real acceptance. And it's one of those things that it's about to go into like a brand new sort of level of popularity. It's something that's becoming more and more and more in demand. And so if you would like to learn more about a therapeutic modality that can help you make massive changes with people in a few short sessions, even things that have been a lifelong problem, then get in touch to find out how we do it at Freedom Formula Hypnotherapy Academy. We have got a very, very reasonable membership model that you can join that allows you to train and qualify as a hypnotherapist. You get your hypnotherapy practitioner's diploma in professional hypnotherapy and hypnosis practice. And that allows you to become insured and practice as a hypnotherapist. We are also accredited by the IPHM, the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine. And so that is an accredited qualification that we give you to allow you to get your career going. And you can actually get that career started in as little as 16 weeks. So do get in touch, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.